Hello, everyone, and welcome to Channel 18 TV News. I'm Don Julian. In the news, a 25-year-old Sulphur Springs man was arrested early Tuesday morning after a traffic stop in Hopkins County on a Hunt County warrant. The traffic stop for failing to stop for a stop sign occurred at around 1:20 a.m. Tuesday. Records check reveal the Hunt County burglary of a habitation warrant naming Dakota Ray Miller. The man was taken into custody and his car was impounded, according to arrest reports. Due to a water main break, customers of the Picton water supply must boil their water until further notice. Customers will be notified when that boil water notice is lifted.
Please be curbside this Saturday, November 9th, to see the Veterans Parade, and it will cross the square. It steps off at 10 a.m. from Prim Stadium. Clayton McGraw is this year's parade marshal, and also let's meet Bob Kerr, who's an organizer.
Well, they have chosen me to be the grand marshal, and I guess I'm going to be riding in something.
Okay.
He's going to ride and look pretty.
Okay. Well, you do look great in uniform, Clayton. I'll have to tell you that. I have seen you that way at several events, and I appreciate you carrying that off so well.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Do you still fit into your original uniform?
No, ma'am. I'm sorry. I just can't do that anymore, but I still have it.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good. We are planning this for Saturday, November 9th. Is that right, Robert?
That's correct. 10 a.m., Saturday, November 9th.
Give us some of the details from where, Prim Stadium?
We're going to organize in Buford Park, right next door to the stadium, the parking lot there. It looks like we're going to have 50 to 55, 56 entrants. Tickle to death to have all of those. We're going to organize the setup and the staging from 8 to 10. The parade will start at 10 a.m.
Okay. So reserve Saturday morning, November 9th, for this event, and it is put on by, well, you tell us who you're associated with.
Okay, I'm the judge advocate for the Marine Corps League of Hopkins County, Detachment 1357. Just a worker bee in this great project. It's actually sponsored and orchestrated by Community Seed from Lone Oak, Texas. They do amazing work for the needy and the helping people into drug rehab and giving people places to live and improving their lives. I've got many stories about people who have needed. We don't give a hand out, but we give a hand up, and they're just a wonderful, wonderful organization, 501c.
Thank goodness we have organizations like that reach out and help.
Yes, ma'am. So
they have a heart for honoring our veterans, and so does, of course, the U.S. Marine Corps League.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are tickled to death and honored to be involved in this parade and helping to organize and recruit people in, not only to participate, but hopefully the weather will be nice and we'll have an opportunity to see a lot of the local residents enjoy and honor the veterans that have given us our freedom.
Okay. We're going to find out a little bit more about the route, but first I want to ask Clayton McGraw. You've been a recognized veteran in Hopkins County for so many years. You were instrumental in bringing that Veterans Memorial to all of us right on our downtown square.
Yes, ma'am.
And many other things that you have done over the course of your years here.
I've tried to stay busy, and that Veterans Memorial is very dear to my heart. To see it go from a picture of one in Iowa, Kansas, to what it is today, it just thrills my heart. And to think now that we have the Freedom Ball that is helping to keep it up.
Mm-hmm. And that'll come again in 2020, in the early weeks of 2020, and more on that later. You have been a public servant, a community servant, and we love you.
Well, thank you.
You're part of everybody's family here. I remember you telling some experiences of your wartime service and how the atmosphere was in Korea. Was it anything like today?
No, it was very cold in the wintertime, hot in the summer, and there was a rainy season, and I always said that my memories of Korea was uphill or downhill or digging trenches and foxholes and things like that, But I had the privilege of saving a boy's life in Korea, and 50 years later, my wife located him. And through a trip to Washington, D.C., Ralph Hall was a congressman at that time, and he brought him to Washington, and I got to spend a day with him. So that was a big thrill in my life.
Wow. Bob, these kinds of things that you experience as a young person carries throughout your life.
Absolutely does. I'm from the Vietnam era. I spent a good deal of time in Southeast Asia as well as around the world. Saw a lot of countries. Life in America would not be what it is today without people like Clayton and my comrades in the Marine Corps and the other services that participated in the Vietnam War. And we appreciate the way people see us now as opposed to how we kind of felt in the 1970s when we were coming back from there. It was chaotic, to say the least. I have very few fond memories of that time in my life, but they made me who I am, and I've stuck with the Marine Corps. And, of course, once a Marine, always a Marine. And I give my life to the service of veterans, and my passion is making this country better.
And that's what you still are doing through this. And the many efforts that you've done over the years, there's another group I'd like to mention, and there's so many, but the final act, I guess, of a veteran before they are laid to rest, we have a group here that takes a personal hand in that, our coalition, military coalition.
Our coalition, as of last week, had done 1,192 funerals since it was organized in 1998. We done our first funeral in 98. There's just two of us left that was in the original organization. The rest of them have all passed on. Walter Grice and myself, and I think that's the only two that's left now of the original.
Well, there are just countless individuals and efforts that we could name if time would allow, but we are very pleased that this Veterans Day Parade has been set for this Saturday, November 9th in the morning. So add that to the things that you want to do towards Veterans Day.
Lots of programs going on. Sulphur Springs is so great about appreciating and promoting the veterans in many, many aspects. There's not only the parade on Saturday. I'd like to mention, too, the Marine Corps birthday is on the 10th. Veterans Day actually on the 11th. The high school program here is just second to none. It's just awesome. Anybody that's invited to that or can come and attend that program, it will put tears in your eyes with the appreciation we feel.
It's very well conducted.
Yeah. One thing I'd like to mention, too, is on Saturday at 4 o'clock, the Veterans Memorial will be dedicating and unveiling a model of a soldier sitting on the bench there at the memorial. It'll be a full-size individual representing all branches of the service, and he has a prosthesis and he has a dog with him, and he'll be there permanently. And so we'll be dedicating him at Saturday afternoon at 4. And our Representative Ratliff will be there, John Ratliff will be there as a speaker, and there'll be free hot dogs and snacks.
There are many people who take a part in making these things happen. There's an event this evening for veterans, I know,
yes,
as well. We just have a moment to mention each one.
It's sponsored by Walmart. They sponsor this every year. It's for all veterans and spouses, and it'll be at the League Street Church of Christ at 6 o'clock. And they always have a good program for veterans.
There's a traditional one on the square on Monday morning at 11 a.m. as well.
Yes, and also our high school has a program for veterans on Monday afternoon at 2 o'clock, and that's for all veterans, so that'll be attended well.
Okay. There's one thing that came up last year that was the first of it, and that is this laying of wreaths on all the graves of veterans in our city cemetery and other cemeteries who want to join in, and that's been a lovely thing that has taken
And the
place.
Marine Corps League is very active in that. We'll have a display of crosses on the square and other things to commemorate and memorialize our lost veterans.
Well, we have about 3 minutes at the max. So again, Bob, tell us about this event and invite people.
Veterans Day parade Saturday morning, 10 o'clock. Staging at 8 o'clock. Anybody that wants to get involved, we'll still take some latecomers to get in this parade. We want as many veterans, of course, and community organizations as possible to get involved in the parade, and not only to promote their business, but to honor the veterans. And that's what this is all about, is honoring the people who keep our freedom free.
I think there's a ladies' horseback drill team, part of it, a couple of marching bands.
There's a couple of marching bands. The
Lone Oak
Band, Como Picton Band. We'll have a pianist on a trailer, amplified, playing patriotic music. He is just awesome. And the entertainment goes on, so please attend. Line yourself up from Houston Street, outside of Buford Park, down to Church Street, around the square to just near Brookshire's. Not sure where that complete end will be, but we're just excited about it being here. We're coming down to the wire, and we want to have as many people there and as absolutely possible.
And we are excited about it too. And be sure and be waving as Clayton McGraw goes by.
Absolutely. He's the mainstay of this parade. He's a guy that deserves all the acclamation or the accolades that he can garner up.
I appreciate being chosen for this position. I just appreciate y'all so much.
Well, Clayton and I go back quite a number of years. I've done a number of years with the Veterans Appreciation Program, and he's always been a big part of that program. So,
thank you both for your service in the past and coming up this Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you, Noah.
Appreciate you very much.
In Sports Zone Coordinator Tuesday, Wildcats offensive coordinator Matt Young comments first on the play of the Wildcats offense against Kaufman last Friday. And then he talks about the North Forney defense the Wildcats will be seeing Friday at the Prim on senior night.
Kids did a lot of good things. Really proud of Noe Ponce. Came in as a backup quarterback, led us the whole game. I think he was 9 of 17 passing. Did a good job distributing the ball, some big throws to get first downs. He hit Crawford on a naked at one point, an out route to Dietrich Clayton. A couple throws he'd love to have back, but did a really good job of what you ask out of a backup quarterback, just kind of managing the game. I thought Caden Davis had his best game, making people miss. Some penetration would get through it. He would still find a way to make a play, ran extremely hard. Up front, Gio Pisano's done a great job all year for us. He and Ryan Hammonds being extremely physical. And then some of the young guys continuing to come on. So really good ball game. Had a chance to make some plays and didn't make them, but at the same time made some plays. Right off the bat, we had the toss pass or the sweep pass, and Fields is open. Chalk just overthrows a little bit, his first high school attempt. He got a little excited, threw it further than he ever had. But, love our kids, love how they compete and get after it. Just not quite enough to finish it off.
Finishing off, that's what we're doing. And
Connor Prescott, come to the office, please. Connor Prescott, come to the office.
finishing off is what we're doing now, and we got North Forney senior night, big night for us. And tell us about them defensively.
Extremely talented. I'd put them up there, probably similar to Corsicana. They got 11 guys that can fly to the ball. Not a ton of, variation in what they do. So they're not really trying to trick you. Just sound. I mean, everybody's well coached. You're not going to trick them or fool them. You're going to know where they're at. You got to do a good job of your details, or their speed and athleticism will overwhelm you. I think there's some things we can do. I hope there's some things we can do passing game-wise, some quick game that we can throw and catch, and then the occasional down the field. And then up front, they're really big and really talented. They got I don't know, they're 270, 240 and active. But if you can get them a little fatigued, get them running side to side, that's not their strength. They're more one to punk you right in front of them. So O-line's got a challenge ahead of them with the running backs being consistent and get some yardage there. And then we got to be sharp on the outside to get those routes open just because of the speed they have.
Their linebacker's pretty good.
Yeah, they've got a couple of those guys. Number 22, a sophomore, it's about 6'1", 180 pounds. That doesn't look like a sophomore. When you look at the sheet, you're kind of shocked he's a sophomore. Real rangy. Those guys like to make plays sideline to sideline, and we got to do a good job accounting for them, and I think we will.
They're coverage guys. What do they like to do back there?
They're more zone. But nowadays, when you say zone, it's still matchup zone. They're going to let you go for a certain distance, and they're not going to cover you up. They like to play off with their eyes in the backfield, and when they see the ball thrown, they break. So if things are done late, things are done out of timing, or if you're not sharp with what you're doing as far as attacking them, they break really well on the ball.
Got some great seniors playing some of them their last game.
Yeah, you got some kids that have put in a lot for this program. Zach T-Meyer's a great story. He's going to end up being one of our leading receivers on the year, over 200 yards, and a kid that really he's in the position he's in just because of what he put into it. Ch.18's another one of our leading receivers, and he didn't. And hadn't been able to play it full time, just able to come over sparingly. That just has invested. So, really pleased with what some of those guys have done. We got a kind of an unknown Campbell Cody who's come back from 2 injuries and been able to be a part of this year. So, you want them to enjoy their last time at the Prim. Being a former Wildcat, you remember that last night, win or lose, just the memories of it. So, we're encouraging them this week just to put in the time, the effort, so it's a positive memory they make to finish up Friday.
Wildcats defensive coordinator Alex Guetta gives us a preview of the North Forney offense that the Wildcats will be facing Friday night at the Prim. But first, he discusses the play of the Wildcats defense at Kaufman last Friday night.
I had like 2 breakdowns the second half that hurt us a little bit, but prior to that, we didn't give up a lot of yards rushing or passing. Kids played well, played hard. A couple mental breakdowns the second half that kind of hurt us a little bit.
Who were some of your stars on defense? I know Coach Owens mentioned a lot again on the coaches show.
Yeah, golly, the front did a good job. Our 2 inside backers did well. Cairo had a pretty good game as usual. Very impressed. Dominic Sims at the corner did an excellent job. Haney at safety was phenomenal at times. But just really pleased overall just with the whole effort of the whole crew.
Yeah, Chase Haney's got that 2-point after touchdown defense down, doesn't he?
Yeah, he was pretty excited that he didn't get caught. So he was moving. We locked up coverage there, and he had a great break on the ball and took it to the house.
All right. Now we got North Forney, and I know they really present a challenge. They seem to be very, very explosive with a lot of parts that can really hurt you.
Yes, sir. They're very athletic. To say the least, and they do a lot of different stuff. They've trick played a whole bunch of gadgets. But on top of that, again, they're just very athletic. We're just going to have to really, really, really be disciplined this week and mind our assignments.
Quarterback really makes them go, it looks like to me, or he did last week.
Yeah, he can move. Like I said, we've seen a bunch of mobile quarterbacks this year, and we've been able to do fairly well. So we're going to continue to just stick to our game plan, watch him, and try to be disciplined again.
And I think the running back maybe has more yards than anybody else in the district, or at least he did starting last week.
Yeah, he sure does, and he did a great job against Royce City. As you know, we play a real similar 3-4 defense, and I feel like their game plan with him will probably be similar to what they did with us as far as what they did to Royce City. I think they'll probably follow that same game plan, so we'll just work hard in trying to contain him.
What's the key to us on defense against them?
Play fast, create turnovers. We need to get better at creating turnovers still. We hadn't created as much this year as we did last year, but I think second, third efforts need to be there this week for us to be competitive.
Very good. You got some great seniors, guys that'll be playing some of them their last game.
Yeah, they've done well. Of course, Cairo did well. We've got I don't want to forget anybody. Gosh, feel a little bad for Greenway. Didn't get to finish. He'll probably play some this week, but he's had up and down with his shoulder. Haney did a great job. Then we have Crawford up front. Golly, I hope I'm not missing the Clayton. Dietrich Clayton did a good job for us. He's got in some. Jaden Janway has come in and filled spots. Brenna at linebacker filling in for Greenway. and I'm sure there's a few others, so forgive me if I forget them right now. But man, we've been blessed. Those guys have really, really come out, and for the fact that we were missing really, really a lot of key spots on our defense this year, they've stepped up and helped lead us, and they've done a good job.
That's Channel 18 TV News. I'm Don Julian. Thank you for joining me, and so long, everybody.